All right. Hello, my name is John Grosvenor, and I'm giving my final reflection for my spring research course in my master's in art education year 2021. As I go and reflect, I'm just going to read from my original plan and kind of thought I would look back and see how much I feel like I stayed on course or strayed from my original plan. So I'm reading from my original research plan that I wrote back in March, I believe. Um, I would like to seek further understanding into motivations and perceived obstacles in the visual arts classroom of high school students. Specifically, I want to seek out how digital processes and technologies can aid in overcoming difficulties and provide a pathway to success in the arts. Can a higher rate of success or perceived success be attained when teaching methods are coupled with digital platforms? Can the use of artistic software and varied digital input technology have an impact and interest on the perceived success of students in the visual arts? I personally see an advantage to these digital technologies. So that's one of the things that interested me. It's something I teach every day in class. So that's why I pursued this line of inquiry. As I was a freelancer for several years before I entered into education here, and very recently in 2019. Being having been out in kind of the professional world, there is a definite advantage to that, and just being able to be adept and versatile, and being able to meet clients' needs using these digital technologies. Um, so. Um, but all that digital technology is also based on good design practice. And if we make good design practice and good base in traditional illustration and traditional art practices, it's going to improve your overall digital processes. So my plan was to do an action-based, art-based research methodology. I feel like I stuck to that pretty well. I collected artifacts. That was kind of what really drew me to it. I was like, as teachers, we're already collecting information and artistic artifacts from our students every day. To go in and instead of just grading those and really looking at them as research and kind of pulling what I can code from those. I also use critique quite heavily in student engagement. And it's a way to get the students not only to talk about their artwork, but also kind of give me a feedback on how they feel the process was. And it just creates a good conversation that I can glean a lot of information and research from. I also did observations, and I did a narrative analysis from those observations. I did an interview process with my co-teacher. From all of that, something that really kind of was that really struck a chord with me is comments from Dr. Smith came back and let me know that it was an interesting concept that I had touched upon, this idea of permissions in artwork. And that was, it kind of rang true in my interview process when I was and I interviewed my co-teacher, Mr. Reynolds, and he teaches the studio art side, traditional side, and I teach the digital art side. We overlap quite a bit. But he had talked about how he was projecting a drawing he had done up onto a wall to make a larger version of it. And one of the students had talked about, well, isn't that kind of like cheating? And that's how I kind of reinforced how students sometimes need permission. So I pursued that as one of the themes in my research. So my three themes that I uncovered were digital processes bolstering creativity. Like I said, that was a whole lot of information that dealt with kind of around 2005 to 2010. There was a lot more information than I thought. There was a lot. That's when kind of the digital touch technology came about. We used digital drawing tablets in the digital art room, especially like 2000 with the advent of the iPad and the iPhone specifically, really advanced widespread acceptance of touch technology. And there's lots of articles where people were writing in 2010 2012 that they're going to close down all the schools and we're all going to be teaching on iPads here soon. So there was a lot of information to be had there. My other another theme I came across was traditional versus digital practices, and I struggle with that in my own class quite a bit. And then finally were the permissions in art and that idea of, is this cheating? Is this like do I need permission from my instructor or teacher in order to use these practices? So the actual impact it has on my actual teaching that I will move forward with on the digital processes and traditions versus digital. I really will just keep touting the benefits, and I think my students see the benefits, how like quickly, especially with color, how quickly they can bring color up, because you can fill in color and there's not technically a lot of difficulty in filling in, say, like an area of color on a canvas with a paintbrush, but it's time consuming. So if I can do that with one click, or I can go in and quickly change that, and I can do several different color studies, they see the benefit of that kind of very, very, very quickly off the bat. And then also the idea of traditional versus digital means. My students want to abandon their sketchbooks because they're in a digital art class, and I feel justified in my research that the research says that a good balance between the two is the best way to go. And then finally, I'm going to be open to seeing those requests for permissions. Now that I kind of see them and I hear them and I think about it, I was like, these my students are continually asking me for these permissions and making sure that I am paying attention to those. So that is my reflection. I really enjoyed this course. I enjoyed the research. I enjoyed going on this educational voyage with all of you. So I hope to continue this and look forward to talking to you all soon.